Good afternoon to all of you once again for this new lecture on the decision making. And I feel very proud that Professor Monica Prakash has accepted our invitation to deliver the lecture on decision making. Madam Monica Prakash is very senior professor in IITTM, and before joining the IITTM, she was founder member of the Department of Management, Mizoram University, and she accepted our request. We are so thankful. And Madam Prakash has written more than 4 books and published more than 100 research papers in different international and national journal of their repute. She did a lot of consultancies also. And Madam Monica has wide experience of delivering lecture, not in India, but in so many countries. Like I can take few names, but there are so many countries, but I know Singapore, Thailand, Pakistan, Vietnam.
Don't believe too much what he says, just cut down.
and Canada. So that much I know. So I feel I'm proud that you accepted this thing. Now you can start to deliver your lecture on decision making. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Dr. Amit. Before I would just start up with the lecture, I would like to thank Professor K.R.S. Raoji, the Vice Chancellor of the Mizoram University, the head of the department, Professor L.S. Sharmaji, and above all, Dr. Amit. Mizoram has been something very close to me, even though my stay in Mizoram has been just for 2 months. The simple reason being is I formally started my journey of teaching. Formally would mean I was teaching before, but that was on a very contractual and a very temporary basis. But how to get formally into a system, how to work formally for a system, how to help in implementing certain kind of things, even though I was not very instrumental in setting up so many things the department, but yet for the time that I was there, it has been a very memorable journey. One thing which has taken us from a very west part of the country to the tipping east part of the country. I actually belong to Rajasthan. So for us, this is a lifetime movement from moving from west to east, which was once again at times, which was giving us a jitters of whether we'll be able to adjust ourselves. But thanks to the cosmopolitanicity of the Mizoram, that we really love to be there. We lived as a family. We were there for 2 months. We would all sit together. We did what people would do without technology. So that was the best part about it. After my Mizoram, I joined the institute by the name Indian Institute of Tourism and Travel Management. This is basically an autonomous organization of Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. And I had been with the headquarters, that is IIT Gwalior, for 8 to 9 years. And then I shifted to Noida. We basically have 5 campuses all across India. Noida being one of them, Bhubaneswar, Goa, Nellore, and Gwalior are the rest 4. For the last 12-13 years, my association with management has been there, but more with tourism. We have had an opportunity of working for many projects for the Ministry of Tourism as the consultants, as the researchers, and very lately IITTM is highly instrumental in bringing up a very dream project of the Prime Minister of India, that is the Tourist Facilitator Program. And fortunate enough that I got the coordinatorship for the program, for which we have been doing it. Now today we shall be talking something about decision making. Now something I think which everybody is very much aware about, what is decision making, and people must be thinking about it. What is it that we are or we do have to learn about decision making? बहुत छोटी सी चीज दिखाई देती है, but if you would look at it depth, you would understand that there is so many things that you have to learn it. Trust me, when I took up a topic, I said it should not be very difficult to speak about decision making. What is it that we need to learn about decision making? But trust me, last 3-4 days, I have been dwelling into so many papers and so many journal articles and other things to understand what exactly is decision making. So I believe that I'll be able to put up the best of mine in front of you to explain what is decision making and definitely the complexity of decision making. There has been so many places, there has been so many things right now in the organizations which are completely talking about what is decision making, and it is becoming really very important for the times to come. Simple reason being is that we knew that we are living in a very dynamic era. We knew that change is inevitable. हमें पता था कि change जो है वो हर समय आता रहेगा. But change of such types we had never even thought of. Anything which would change our life, which would make us think whether we'll survive or not, ये सारी चीजें हम लोगों ने अभी तक नहीं सोची थी. So you can just understand about it कि जितना हमने पहले सोचा हुआ था, उन सब चीजों की practical applicability at this point of a time जो है वो कहीं ना कहीं पर question mark हो गई है. And it is for this reason that people have started thinking in terms of what to do up next. Now thinking in terms of, you are just trying to find out what is it that you can do to make the things more better. Will it be better or not? Should I work it this way? Should I work the other way around? And there has been so many ways people have been thinking about it. So let's talk about what is decision making first. Now, when I talk about the word decision, we need to understand that every organization is concerned about certain kind of things. Definitely, if I'm starting up with an organization, I'm always concerned about making its future brighter. And once again, I think in terms of grabbing up more and more of the momentum around. I think in terms of getting up more and more of a share of people around, getting more of consumers around. As a result of which, I always tend to make up certain decisions, conclusions, which is once again in the favor of my company. So if I would just try to explain it all, we are basically indulging into three kind of basic decision making. The one is the organization decision making. The second is the personal decision making. And third is what is known as the consumer decision making. We are all from management, so we all know about it. What is the difference between the three?
Excuse me, ma'am. Are you sharing PPT?
I would be sharing PPT as well after this, right?
Excuse me, ma'am. Are you sharing PPT?
I would share. I am not right now, but I would do it. Amit, I'll do it on my own. I can do it now.
You can do it, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Now, knowing the fact that what is the difference between the three, we know that if you're talking about organizational decision making, the people are here taking decisions pertaining to its future growth, prospects, and its share size. If I'm talking about my individual decision making, I'm talking in terms of how am I indulging into this particular aspect. And I'm talking about the consumer decision making. I'm trying to see that how do consumers make a decision. Now, why we study all these three kind of things? Because researchers have indicated that the factors which are influencing the cause of decision making can be tapped and can be moderated as per our choices. अब आप इस समय पे सोचिएगा कि we do not even know what we are doing. The smartphones in hand, we are really getting guided by what these smartphones or what this technology is telling us about it. AI has gone to an extent कि इस समय पे हमें वो सोचवाता है जो हम नहीं सोचना चाहते हैं या हमारे दिमाग में किसी समय से बात आ जाती है. So इन सब चीजों को देखते हुए we need to understand कि why decision making is important, and knowing the importance of it, why do we fail to make up a good kind of a decision. Now, her organization, when it has to undertake a decision, takes up the SWOT analysis into account. Now, we all know about what SWOT analysis is. That's the strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But the strength and weaknesses are pertaining within the organization, and opportunities and threats are for outside the organization. Imagine the number of decisions that the organizations have to take. Imagine of it, what would be my people? How many people do I need? What would be the HR policy? What is the product that I have to offer? What price it would be, where it would be made available to? Will I go in for an online promotion? Would go for an offline kind of a promotion? What would be the culture for my organization? Leave aside all these kind of a thing, the factors which are not in my control. I also keep thinking of whether I'll be able to tap those as opportunities and threats. Now, that is to say that every point of time, every individual of us, irrespective of whichever level that we are encountered with a position where we have to decide which path to take. And we always stand into a fix of that if I take up this path, possibly it could be right or it could be wrong, and we are not very clear about it. So before we just proceed ahead, let me tell you certain kind of a thing. First thing is for sure that no choice is right and wrong. You cannot say that you have made a good decision. You cannot say you have made a bad decision. All decisions are good decisions as long as execution doesn't prove to be bad. Now, you might have made a very nice decision. You must have taken up all possible things into account to reach to a final decision. But when you have, implemented it, there must have been time when the decisions would have gone wrong. So we can say that you may choose the right decision, but the outcomes of it can be wrong. Then it may be that at times it so happened that because of your personal biases and your limitation, you may have chosen the wrong path to move on. So what you need to understand in this particular presentations that we would be taking, that we would try to understand that what is it that the people and where is it that the people go wrong, and what in this time of a pandemic can we do once again to enhance the speed of decision making. So I'll just start up with my presentation now. We all know life is all about choices. And on this particular journey, and on every journey that we take, we face choices. And at every fork in the road, you make our choices, and it's in those decisions that shape our lives. Now, we all know about it that every point of a time we get onto a crossroad where we have to decide in terms of whether we have to move to a right or we have to move to a wrong. Now, both seems equally opportunistic, both seems equally good to us. But the question is key, there has to be one choice, and what we make as a decision or what we make as a choice is the reason for the future that we are predicting for. इसलिए हम ये कहते हैं कि आपने जिस तरह का रास्ता सोचा है वो कहीं ना कहीं आपके अंदर की सोच को रिफ्लेक्ट करता है. And that is why we say that decision making, even though it sounds very easy, but decision making is something which is very difficult to take. Now, what happens when you take a decision? Now, this is something simply that we have been studying for. अगर हम लोग कोई भी decision लेते हैं, तो सबसे पहली बात ये है कि कहीं ना कहीं पर ये employee की job satisfaction और motivation को influence करता है. Now, once again, like for example, in this era of pandemic, many organizations have decided to fire the people around. Now, we can understand the fact that since there were no sales, there was no reason why people could not have been there. But could you understand the state of people that are there in the organization? For those who were out is okay when they had to move out. But for those who were left within the organization were living in that era of fear that they could be fired anyway. And as a result of which their productivity must have gone to a loss. So we need to understand that the decisions somewhere down the line, they influence the individual's job satisfaction and the motivation as well. But sometimes it so happens that your decisions also influences or are also influenced by company culture, or I would say the other way around. The decision that I take has an impact on the company culture or the corporate culture. कल आप लोग पढ़ रहे थे कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर के बारे में, एंड देन यू वर सेइंग अबाउट इट कि किस तरीके से, आई मीन हाउ वाज इट दैट द कल्चर वाज इन्फ्लुएंसिंग द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. एंड वी ऑल नो अबाउट इट दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स दैट हैपेंस इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज बिकॉज ऑफ दिस intangible factor that is existing in the system. For example, we all know that if you have a very conducive work culture, our tendency to contribute to the work is or to the organization is more. Recall back in your own workstations. If you have a very cooperative culture where you are appreciated for all the work that you have done, for where you are given a choice to make any kind of a recommendations or any kind of a innovation that you want to do, anything that you would like to suggest, if there is a fearlessness in the system, your tendency to do and to make, to do a work in the organization is far better than as compared to when you live in a very, very fearful kind of an environment. So the decision that is taken up by, let's say, the senior authorities in terms of what shall be the shape that makes an organization's good or bad or fail or successful, and the growth of an organization. Now, one needs to understand that a decision impact has a high impact on the growth of an organization. Now, the researchers have indicated that when the organization foresees any kind of a downfall, perhaps it is the reasons or the decisions behind it which is making a difference. For example, I might have seen that the tourism was doing very well in the country. And it is for this reason I might have gone into some kind of an expansion. not understanding the fact that the environmental factors can be a big concern, or it can be a big impediment in my growth of an organization. But what happens was that all environmental factors kept aside, just one environmental factor, that is the COVID, has impacted the organization to a larger extent. So what do we say? That decisions at times also influences, and I would not say hampers, but it also deters the growth of an organization. Then it is resources are utilized. I'm sorry, I did it once again, employee job satisfaction. Resources are utilized. Now, a good decision leads to a proper distribution of the resources that you have in a system. And once again, resources are something which are very limited with the system. So if you are not making a proper plan of how they have to be utilized, they end up either into underutilization, or they end up into some kind of an overutilization, both of which for an organization has to pay a lot for. And that is why it is to be understood that these factors are influenced when the decisions, or how the decisions are made. And that is why we say that as an individual, we need to understand that any decision of ours impacts the system in this way. Now, once again, what I need to tell you was all these things are equally applicable for organization with a profit motto, an organization with a non-profit motto, or even a political structure, or an organization, or a company, or a country as such. Because any wrong decision taken part at any point of a time is going to have a reflection on the various other activities of a factor. So everything gets associated and everything gets affected by this. Now, people tend to say that what is the decision-making process? People try to understand that what is a decision-making process. Is it something which is very difficult? Is it not that we have already studied about it? Sabko pata hai ki this is the way that the things move on. You find and you define the problem, you generate the alternatives, you make decision and conduct the ethical double check, you implement the decision, you evaluate the results. Everybody has been noting about the same decision-making process for years together, right? And we know that this is the way that the things would move whenever we have to make a decision. But the question is, we go wrong. Now, why the thing is that we go wrong? Simple reason being is that we think that it is more intuitive rather than being more logical and rational. As a result of, we tend to skip few of the steps and then we move to the next part of it. Like, for example, it is very important to define and find the problem. Trust us, they do not come as knocking on the door saying that, look, I am a problem, please accept me, try to solve me. It is not this way. You have to have a knack to understand that where does the gap or where does the problem arises. And are we actually looking at the problem in a very minute way? Are we understanding if this is a problem? All the issues that is there is that we must be able to identify that this is the thing that has to be rectified or fixed. Like, for example, you find people not coming to your organizations. You find that there's people's absenteeism or people tendency to delay in the organization is being growing large, right? Now, this gives you a hint, or this gives you an idea of that there are certain things that needs to be checked, the reason, and find out the reason why people are doing it this way, instead of just punishing them and sacking them from the organization. It cannot happen this way. Like, for example, in these days, we have seen the moment that we see the increase in the graph of the active cases, that gives us an indication of that something wrong is going somewhere. As a result of which, we have few options to go, either to make the lockdown again lockdown again a practice, or try to find out from where the virus is spreading, or increase the number of, increase the number of tests in a day so that you're able to identify how the things are going. Yeah, yesterday only the Chief Minister of Delhi, Mr. Kejriwal, said that from 20,000 what we were doing, we rose it to 60,000 so that we were able to identify the number of active cases. And ever since 16 September, we have been seeing the decline in the cases. Now the question is, if we had been able to find and define the problems, henceforth activities at least can be tuned to what we are finding out. But once again, refining the problem or finding out what the problem does not lead to a desirable result, because now you have to evaluate and find out the alternative solution to it. Now that's where the major problem arises. The thing is, who are the people who are into it? What kind of a mindset do they have? Are they able to do it or not? Are they people who are the committed to make a solutions or not? What are the kind of an alternatives that they have? What are the backgrounds that they are from? There's so many things which are influencing anybody's evaluation and generation of alternatives. Like for example, and we all know about it, if you come from a pure science background, no matter how best that you think, that that logicalness is always there. I remember when I was doing my MBA, I had come from a BSc background. So even if I wanted to write 5 pages for an answer, I could not do it for more than 2 pages. Simple reason being is that graduation and especially science has taught it to be so specific and precise in your approach that we could not end up writing stories in it. Whereas the university was expecting us to write more and more stories in that. The question is, when you are having that kind of a background, definitely the alternatives that you would look would probably be the alternatives where the probability of a success is very high or to happen is very high. And we also know about it. There are times when there cannot be a, let's say, a very rigid background to say that this is the way that you have to move. Now, once again, has there not been any kind of a necessity, there would not have been any kind of an invention. Has there not been any kind of a newness in an idea, out of the box kind of a thing, there would not have been any kind of innovations. Now, the simple reason why you had an innovation is because somewhere somebody in that particular meeting or in that particular committee has thought of something which was different from what others were thinking. And that is why they could at least evaluate the decision. So sometimes it so happens that despite the fact that you make up a good problem, you all end up into not making very good alternative solutions and doing it. But suppose even if you have taken up a step to very rightly, I do not say it has to go in a very logical way, but just for an understanding, let's say हमने उसके बाद में second step पर आ गए. Now the question is now making a decision, which is something which is very important. Imagine the most of the intelligent people of the organization are the people who should sit together for any kind of a decision, right? Now to tell that only one of the decision is right, the others are subject to a debate in itself is a very difficult task. And then to be accepted by the people that my decision is subject to any kind of a question in itself is all the more difficult task. तो अब आप सोचिए कि उन ऑल्टरनेटिव्स को नैरो डाउन करके एक फाइनल पॉइंट पर लेकर आना इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट. Now we thought that 23rd March when he was declaring, the Prime Minister was declaring the lockdown, it must have been an easy decision. It could not have been an easy decision because he knew the after effect of declaring a lockdown. And he knew of it that the entire India in itself is not being in agreement of having a lockdown because it was impacting the life of many. But then there had to be some decision, and it must have been lots and lots of mind-boggling exercises of the people back in his office who must have seen to the pros and cons and then measure the pros and cons, and most probably it could have been that the lockdown option was given more weightage as compared to not keeping India open, right? Now this was what was important, कि किस तरीके से आप decision ले रहे हैं, that again is right. Now once again, we do not know that the decision of declaring a lockdown on 23rd March, was it right or wrong? It is subject to a high debate. क्योंकि जब आपने उसको implement किया, we saw what we had not seen or witnessed in India for so many years. The immense people migrating from one area to another area, the problems that people had, we knew that the problems would be there. In fact, most of us has not even gauged off that the problems would be there. But the amount of confusion that was there for 20-25 days, that was so scary that we realized, and we kept us, I mean, it gave us a reason to think of whether the decision of declaring a lockdown on a very urgent basis, was it right or wrong? And then we are just waiting for the results for an evaluation. So imagine of it, even the smallest, and this was a big decision, even the smallest decision in an organization, even though it undergoes these steps, which seems to be very easy, but can become a failure at any point of a time, resulting into the failure of the decision that we are taking. And that is why we say that we need to understand that the decision-making process in itself is very difficult. And once again, to ensure that each step of it is very meticulously followed in itself is a very big task. So imagine of it, as researchers and academicians, it seems very easy to put it on papers and say that this is how it has to be done. But for the people who are actually doing it in practice, imagine of it कि उनके लिए कितना ज़्यादा problem है. सोचिए इस समय पे कि एग्जाम्स ऑनलाइन होने चाहिए या नहीं होने चाहिए. Should we go for an online system of teaching in itself? It has taken 2 months of our institute's time to decide what should be the mode of it. And just because we did not have a choice, we had gone in for an online teaching. But then to make an online teaching effective was a very difficult task, because I can just speak. I cannot see what the other person is doing it on the other end, whether they are listening to us or not, whether they are understanding to us or not, whether they are there or not, whether they are there only for the purpose of marking the attendance or not. Are they taking it very seriously? Are they actually understanding it? And then there is a lot of discussions in the on the Zoom meeting again, where we just discuss about it, what will be the right way of reaching out to the people. Because the decision was done that the online classes have to be done. But the question was, how would you make your decision effective was all the more difficult. So we can understand about it that finding and defining the problem, even though is the first very tedious and a very difficult task to do, but henceforth activities also requires an equal concern, because even if we have started up on a very right note, even if we have started up on deciding what is the issue, but maybe we end up into something which was not desirable. So that is why we say, and that is why it can never be questioned whether the decision making at any point of time in an organization was right or wrong. Now, normally people think in terms of that the most discussions of decision making assume that only senior executives are the people who have to make a decision, and that is why, and it is a very dangerous mistake. I don't say it, Peter Drucker said about it, and we all know what is the importance of Peter Drucker in the field of management. So what we need to understand today is what are the certain myths that are associated with the decision making. First thing, it says that the experts don't make disastrous choices. Now imagine of it, why am I saying about it? So, sometimes it so happens that we feel that the best of people in the system are the people who can give the best of their advices. And these are the people who cannot go wrong and are the ones who would be coming out with the best of the solution for the problem that we are saying about it. Read the newspapers, read the research papers these days where the reviving of Indian economy is being talked about, right? And you would have number of people coming out with an opinion of that this is the way it has to go, this is the way it has to go. And of it, let's say assume हमने किसी एक को इसके अंदर पे accept कर लिया. I do not think that would be the wisest choice that can be done. So we need to understand that the experts can make some kind of a disastrous choices. And if we are thinking that these are the people who can give the best of the results are not the ones who are giving the best of the results. Now, for example, I would not, it is a very recent example. Recall back the 2007 wala global recession that we had. Now, nobody was viewing it as the mortgage-backed securities and the collateralized debt obligations that was there in the US would have such a negative impact on the economy. And even the experts of it were being very high about it. And the people who spoke against the particular idea was the person who was sidelined and was once again backlashed by most of the experts around. And what resulted into? It resulted into a huge economic depression that time. So we need to understand about it that let's not always think that the advice or the word of advice coming from the expert people would result into the best of the choices around. It is not always this way. So the first myth is that the experts can make disastrous choices, and we have seen to it so many failures that we see across in the corporates. Okay, are the normally the experts' opinion about what they have to do, but just because either they are not very good, very nicely implemented, or whatever maybe, they end up into some kind of a failure. The second thing, the teams make wiser decisions than individuals, and we always see 2 plus 2 is more than 1 plus 1 is more than 2. It is like 11, and we always believe that more the number of people that we have in an organization would lead into a very wiser decision. But there is a rule of 7, which says about it that beyond this number, if you would have, the probability of bringing down the effectiveness of a decision gets by 10% every time. So you need to decide about it, who should be the people who are there into a team. So do not think that every decision needs to be given by or needs to have a people, needs to have an advice from people. Yeah, you might have an opinion of many people around because this may lead to a wider spectrum and a wider choice. But who should be a decision maker, that has to be wisely decided. Because do not think that if you are having an opinion, I mean 10, 12 opinion about it, then the things are going to be better. It cannot be this way. Sometimes it so happens that if you have more the number of people in a decision making, like the lengthier the procedure is and the more delay it gets. Although we know at times कि when we have a group decision, the things are better into it. But recall back एक चीज अपन ने पढ़ रखी है, group think and group shift. ना ये वो चीजें होती हैं जो आपके ग्रुप की डिसीजन मेकिंग की इफेक्टिवनेस को क्या करती हैं, खत्म करती हैं. You all sit in the committees, right? We all know that we are a part of some or the other committee. How many times have we contributed 100% for it? Or even if we have contributed 100% once and twice about it, and if we are not heard, what is the tendency third time? We just tend to keep ourselves away from it. As a result of which, whatever is decided is basically the concept of 2 or 3 people of the group who try to dominate the entire committee. So decision may be right and wrong, but the entire onus is on the committee. So we need to understand that the teams cannot always make wiser decisions than individuals. The myth 3, the no one remains locked in a bad decision knowingly. For example, now why do I say so about it? Sometimes it so happens that I tend to make up a decision. The question is कि उस decision के अंदर पे I get so occupied with it, I just tend to I don't want to come out of it. I don't want to accept the fact that there can be something wrong about it, right? As a result of which the things go wrong, right? So this is what you need to understand, that sometimes it so happens that even though knowing the fact that whatever decision that we are taking, might either read more information about it, and just because I have been so closely associated or has been so deeply associated with it, I just tend to get into that particular decision knowing that the things would go wrong. For example, suppose if you're doing some kind of a research on a paper. Now, the problem with the research or the problem with the decision-making issue is that it is said that the people normally decide much before in advance, even if before they pose up a problem. So think about it, whenever we are deciding about a PhD topic, we know what the results would be like, right? So at times it so happened that we try to change the result factors in such a way that we reach to a desirable result. And if we are getting, let's say by any chance, if the research is indicating that the things are opposite to what you were thinking, we just tend to think, no, there must be something wrong because this has to be the result, and we just tend to move it this way, right? So what does it happen? At times the decisions that we have in hand, ठीक है, are not the best decision. Probably वो किसी न किसी की अपनी क्या हो सकती है, कहीं ना कहीं पर एक जिद भी हो सकती है. People tend to believe more information leads to better decision making. Kitni bari, and it becomes so confusing at times that that information overloading at times disrupts the entire decision making. What do millennials and what do these, not the millennials, the newer generations that we are talking about, the Z generation, what do they had in mind? They go to a mall, they wear a dress, and then they put them on an Instagram, ask for the people to vote on, and then they decide about what has to be done, right? Or it would be that even if they have to go anywhere, like what is it that we are doing these days? When we go out for travel, we go to Trivago, and then we go to so many kind of sites which suggest where the reviews given, they help us in deciding that what would be the best place to go. But do not think that everything that is being done at that point of a time is what is leading to a better decision making. Sometimes information overload confuses us a lot. Now, if you confuses in the sense, you do not know what is right and wrong. Now, imagine of it, kitna confusion hai. India is witnessing a huge number of COVID cases every day. It is increasing by 1 lakh every day. So the number has gone, let's say, beyond 50 lakh people as such. But 40 lakh are getting cured. The mortality rate is just that we are having 1,000 or something like this. So the number has gone beyond, let's say, 1 lakh. Now the question is, what is it that you would say in this case India to be about? Should we be measured by the active cases that we have? Should we be measured by the number of recovery cases that we have? Should we be measured by the number of mortality rate that we have? And how must we view COVID-19 as? Because there is so much information on the internet these days which says so many kind of a thing that if we tend to decide about let's say, what is it that the next India has to do in terms of revival of an economy, keeping all COVID factors in mind, we get confused. Because there is a medical information which says something else, there is a social information which says something else, there is a number information which is saying something else, there is a medical that is saying something else, and the numbers of people who are involved into a business that is saying something else, as a result of which it influences and impact your decision making. So sometimes information overload also influences your decision making. People says decision making is a purely logical process. काश ऐसा होता कि 2 + 2 4 होता, +2 6 होता, +2 8 होता, +2 10 होता, पर इस तरीके से नहीं होता. We all know about it कि कितना भी best of decision that we have, but that factor of individualness is always there, and it doesn't tend to be as logical as it should be. Yeah, ठीक है, if it is on a computer where everything is AI operated, possibly you would have that free kind of a thing. But how can a human factor not be into it? Like, for example, people say social distancing and contactless tourism is what is going to make up the new tourism now. But humanless tourism, how would you get an experience about it? Because it is just not the Taj Mahal which is alluring me to go to Taj Agra and see the Taj Mahal. I think it is the entire journey and the experience which makes a lot of difference. So whenever you decide in terms of the elements of your individualness will always be there, as a result of which you would never have the final result as the best. And besides bounded rationality, our perceptual biasness, our subjectivity, ये वो factors है that even if I try to move out of it, I will not be able to go away with it. So we need to understand that the decision making cannot always be a purely logical process. Good decisions bring predictable outcomes. Had it been this way, we would have been a wonderful world that we are living in. But we all know about it. The best of decisions that happened pre-COVID times are not the ones which will be working now, and they are reworking on how to bring the better decisions thereafter. Simple reason being is key, there is nothing like good and good and bad decisions. They become good decisions when they implement it well and they give you a desirable results. There are bad decisions when implemented does not give you a desirable result, become a bad decision. So there's nothing like good and bad decision as such. But what we need to understand is, yes, you cannot say for 100% sure that what would be an outcome, but yes, keeping aside the certain biasness that an individual has, the probability of getting the desirable results can definitely be done. But something good and bad about the real life experiences that are there, and something good or bad about management is the outcomes decide about what the fate of outcome would decide about whether the things that we have done right or wrong. It is not like a science where if you would put the things in a proportionate manner, the outcome would be very definite. It cannot be this way. Whereas in case of management, when we see to the final results, then we try thinking, what is it that has made us a success? Like, for example, at times it so happened that we believe, and every successful person would say about it, that I was the person who had come to Bombay with 11 rupees in my pocket, and then I had to sleep on roads, I had to go to the dhabas for food, I lived without a food, and that's how I become a very successful actor. So people start thinking in terms of that if you want to become a successful actor, these are the things that you have to go through. So if you are from a good family, probably you'll not end up becoming a good actor. It cannot be this way. It cannot be this way. We need to understand that yes, decisions do, there are times when I can say that the predictable outcome would be this, but final outcome always depends on so many kind of things. If it is into productions and operations, I can always say that 10 units would be produced out of the input that I would be putting up, but how many sales will it fetch? I cannot say, because there are so many other factors into line. So we cannot say that the good decisions bring predictable outcomes. Good decisions are independently rated by many. Had it been this way, then everybody would have said the same kind of a thing. But sometimes it so happened that everybody rejects, and it is only 1 or 2 persons who accept the fact, and this becomes a successful model. Remember Harry Potter's case? Harry Potter's case ke andar pe, that particular book has gone to the reviewer. They had too many reviewers, and they were not accepting it. And they had rejected that particular idea. But it was only one publisher in the series who took the book back home, and he did not even read it because he was half-minded, because so many people have rejected it. He was thinking whether it would be a nice book or not. But it so happened that his daughter had read the book. She liked few chapters of it. It is only after that he took it up, and then he read the whole book. And then you know what the history says about it. So not every time this way, that the decisions, if vetted by many people, and if they are says wrong, would always be a wrong decision. It cannot be this way. These were certain myths that the people had in their mind. Now, having known about the myth, the question is, what is the right time to decide? When is it that I must know that this is the right time to decide? Now, we know time plays a role in almost every decision, and some decisions define your attitude about time. So anything less and over of it, once again, determines the fate of a particular decision, whether it would be implementable, whether it would be applicable, whether it would be right, or whether it would be wrong. So this is the particular next slide. It says about it, I mean, I can see it I can tell you very easily, showing this particular curve, that the best time to decide is when you have a good balance between the knowledge and the decreasing benefit or the increasing loss. So it seems to be that when you are at the tip of that particular curve, that is the best time to decide. But पूरा problem यही है कि how would I know that I have reached that particular top? अभी तक हम लोग ये सोच रहे हैं कि when is that COVID peak coming up? Every day we think कि शायद 1 लाख हो गए हैं, बढ़ गए हैं. This is the right time that we peak. Few days back I studied about it, that the peak time comes when the recovery rate is 75% of the active cases that you have, right? Now, the problem is that 75 reported cases are not the actual cases of India. Maybe that the reported cases are less as compared to the number of cases. And that is why, despite the fact that we have reached to a recovery stage of 80%, we are not able to reach to the peak of COVID-19. The thing is, like, we really do not know. But yes, what is decided is that if you want, you need to be very clear about it. What is the best time to decide? Because anything short of the both the sides would lead to some kind of a problem. Like, for example, if you are choosing too early, let's say, for example, shooting from the hip, right? That means about it, if you plunge into some kind of a thing without adequate information, there would be a time when you would end up into some kind of a problem. Like, for example, आजकल कोई भी air crash वगैरह होता है, we always wait for that black box to come, because that gives us the last minute conversation that the pilot had, which can give us an idea about how the things are doing about it. And sometimes too less of information जो होती है वो lead us to a very unpredictable results, as a result of which the things go wrong. Latest case, Sushant Singh Rajput. Imagine of it 4-5 months. I mean, it has reached to an extent, but we do not even know what was the basic, what was the case into it. Leave aside that. But sometimes it so happen that the reason why we reach to a decision, or we try to reach to an early decision, is because we have a little information about it. That can be a problem, because if you are not inquiring into what can be the probable reasons, we should definitely look into the other angles as well. At times, I feel the why the justice case delays it, because there are so many things which a judge has to take into account before making any kind of a decision, because any decision that he would take would become a precedence for the other cases that would be there in line. So you really have to be very cautious in terms of when you really have to give a decision. It could be a planning fallacy, that is the bias towards underestimating how long action will take. At times, it so happens that you believe that if fallacy is an error, planning is what you have to do up next. At times, so happens that you are not able to decide the time that would take, you know, to reach to a particular point of time, as a result of which that time frame gets different and the time frame gets affected into it. So one needs to understand that definitely आपको इस particular error को कहीं ना कहीं पर क्या करना पड़ेगा, curb करना पड़ेगा. Then it happens, primary effect, the tendency to weigh the initial events more than the later events, which would promote to a quicker decision. Like, for example, सावन के अंधे को हमेशा हरा ही हरा नजर आता है. So if you tell him something beyond than that, he would not understand, because he's so much influenced by the factors which has just happened, that for him everything that is around him seems to be very green. As a result of which you tend to take up certain kind of information. Like, for example, पिछले 5-6 दिनों के अंदर पे जो हुआ वो हमारे दिमाग में ज्यादा रहता है, और we tend to take up a decision based on what we have been seeing in the recent past. Then it is immediate gratification. people tend to prefer immediate payoffs over later payoff. Like for example, अभी के बारे में सोचो, बाद के बारे में देखा जाएगा. Like for example, few of the countries around have come out with the vaccines, right? Like Russia had come out with the vaccine, but people were very surprised that without even taking up a trial test, which must have taken, which should normally take a year or so, how could they come out in the market? And they're very apprehensive about using a Russian vaccine, even though even the Indian government has declared that they would be inviting the Russian vaccine into it. Because इस समय पे हर आदमी को immediate relief चाहिए, not taking into account what could be a side effect over it. And once again, vaccines can have a long-term impact. We all know about it. So sometimes it so happened that what would be a right time to release the vaccine in that case, it should not be because it has to be done now. अभी का problem solve हो जाए, बाकी का हम बाद में देखेंगे. We cannot do it this way. It could be a neglect of risk. Sometimes it so happen that we completely disregard the probability of a risk that can happen. I remember the time when March, I think it was January or February, when we have started seeing COVID cases in Wuhan, but we never thought of it as going to get into India to a larger extent. As a result of which, we had planned for so many things, let's say May and June. और past history भी ये कह रही थी कि कहते हैं virus की tendency to stay is not for more than 6 months, because this is how the previous virus has just faded away, and we just tend to make up some kind of a programs. Now that is where we went wrong, because we thought all viruses remain the same, और हमने उसके risk factor को किसी तरीके से ignore किया, as a result of which बहुत businesses के अंदर पे इस समय पर loss हुआ. Then is the herd instinct. सब यही कह रहे हैं जी, do it, do it, do it. So you are so much under pressure that you tend to do it, as a result of which it becomes a failure. Then it's the short-sighted shortcuts. Past बहुत जल्दी से. Everything has to be very quick, very quick. There are people who are there into making a very aggressive decision. So imagine of it, these are certain traps because of which decision making at times, because of not being taken at the right point, it leads into some kind of a problem, because you tend to take up the things too early in that case. Now, at times it so happened that you decide too late about it. Decide too late about it means that at times it so happened that you have taken such a lot of time that the impact and the effectiveness of a right decision of time has already passed by, which is normally known as analysis paralysis. हम देख रहे हैं जी, we are seeing into it. We are actually seeing into it. And this is something which is a very normal issue with most of the people around, because they tend to research and then the research and the research and the research. What do we do in our thesis? What do we do in our research papers? We just tend to research and research and research, just waiting कि पता नहीं कौन सा दिन ऐसा है, then we'll be able to come with it. और पता चलता है कि 3 साल की डिग्री को अपन 4 साल के अंदर कर रहे हैं, because we are completely doing with it. Cut it down. पर हाँ, इस तरीके से चीजें होती हैं. We get so paralyzed with the analysis that we are doing. We get so stuck up with the information that we have in hand that the right time for a thing also goes away. It can be procrastination. That means waiting too long to gather the information or to get the right information. और ये हमारे लिए क्या बन जाता है, बहुत प्रॉब्लम बन जाती है. You must have seen to it so many times that when the information does not come on time, that's where it loses its place. And we need to understand that a right timely information given to us can lead to a better results, rather than waiting for that information to come and then delaying the entire process as such. You cannot wait for the things to time. Maintaining the status quo complacency, this we have a habit of. Why me? क्यों करूं मैं इस तरीके से करके, and this is how it affects. और आपका क्या हो जाता है, you get into a position of just striking both the balances, as a result of which you become complacent, and then you wait for others to get intervene into it कि अब आपको इसके अंदर पे strike करना है. Then it is the recency effect. Recency effect was like कि the mistake of waiting the recency events higher than the earlier events, which could encourage a delayed decision. नहीं अभी ऐसा ही हुआ था, तो we should not do it this way, because this may cause some kind of a harm. And it is the normalcy virus. Normalcy virus, rejecting the need to react or a plan for a failure or a disaster that has never happened before. Nobody knew that something like COVID is going to happen before. But with this thing in mind, अब unpredictability, uncertainty, risk, और उसके अंदर पे unimaginability is one factor which has got into our line. We knew that the things are uncertain, but unimaginable भी हो सकती है, हमारे को ये चीज नहीं पता थी. So why I'm telling you about this is that if you would see these two kind of things, Now you have to find and strike a balance between इन दोनों में से कौन से समय पे हमारे को चीजों के अंदर पे decide करना चाहिए. Yes, this comes up with experience. Yes, this comes up with the knowledge. Yes, this comes up with the wisdom of the people. But once again, I am telling you again कि कोई भी चीज का decision जो होता है, till it is not implemented and you don't get the result, it can never be assured of a success in the times to come. Now, we would just talk about reasons why we move from making good decisions. ठीक है ना? We have seen to it that why do things go wrong? पर ऐसा क्यों होता है कि हम लोग की decision making के अंदर पे errors आ जाती हैं? There are certain things which are inevitable. Recall back जब आप लोगों ने decision making OB के अंदर आप पढ़ाते होंगे तो आप ये कहते हैं कि किसी की भी individual decision making जो होती है वो उसके अपनी variables पे impact influence होती है. Like for example उसकी value, उसकी personality, उसकी belief, उसका motivational structure, उसका perceptual thinking, ये सारी चीजें वो होती हैं जो उसके decision making को influence करती हैं. So you want it or you don't want it, you get governed by all these kind of things. We have seen so many factors into it. As a result of which, when we decide, these factors tend to be there. And we all know we cannot deny the fact of that kitna bhi I just try to be rational, but behind my back, behind in my brain, there are certain factors which tend to be there. First thing would be, I can talk about is what is known as the survivorship bias. ये सर्वाइवरशिप बायस का मतलब होता है कि हर आदमी को लगता है कि whatever is the success formula, try to implement it. I always tell my students about it. Always listen to the motivational speakers, always listen to the inspiring speeches of people around it, but never get swayed by it. But listen to the failure so that you get to know what is it that you don't have to do. But what we tend to do is we always listen to these people and then we think that the success formula would be this thing, right? Like for example, I already told about it. When we listen to the Facebook and then we listen to the people from the Apple and all the CEOs, whether it was Steve Jobs or it was Zuckerberg, these were the people who were dropped down from their colleges. And then they become big people. So what do people tend to say about it? That if you want to become good people, you have to be thrown out of your college to become a good people. But then they fail to realize that the journey from throwing out of the college to that of the success that they had many failures in between. But because of that success story that he or she has been telling the people around, they probably think that this is the best thing and then they tend to copy it. This is what is known as the survivorship bias. We get stuck up at all these kind of things and that is why things go wrong. The second thing is what is known as the anchoring. Anchoring, for example, you enter into a shop and then you see something out there. Let's say it is for 50,000 rupees, or let's say even if it is for 10,000 rupees. And you see to it and you say, what is 10,000 rupees? I really cannot buy it. And you see a second kind of a thing, which is just 3,000 rupees. Immediately it looks cheap to you. Immediately it looks cheap to you. That is the marketing gimmick that they do it, because your brain tends to compare the highest against the lowest, as a result of which you find the lowest to be the most valued kind of a thing. So this is what is known as the anchoring. Then there's the loss aversion. Ye dar, I would lose it. I know about it, even though it is not a right platform to discuss about it, but yes, you don't realize it when you have to step down, right? Now that fear of losing so many kind of things just make you sit or stuck to the same chair for long, despite knowing the fact that it is not right for you. ठीक है, ये जो loss aversion होता है कि if I would say it, probably my position would be at stake. Maybe the other person would be able to overpower me. Maybe the others would come into the being and they would become more important to my boss. ये सारी चीजें कुछ ऐसी होती हैं जिसकी वजह से we tend to take a decision where we are not at any kind of a loss. That is what is known as loss aversion. Then it is availability heuristics. Availability heuristics mean that which come to a mind easily and are also the most important or the prevalent things. For example, that whatever is available to us, we just tend to get carried away by this thing rather than thinking that this particular absence would be wrong. Like for example, I would say about it कि ऐसा नहीं था कि वर्ल्ड के अंदर पे लड़ाई नहीं हो रही थी, पर ऐसा लग रहा था कि इससे पहले दुनिया जो थी वो बहुत ज्यादा शांत थी, right? Now, we are normally carried away by the news that we get not exactly by the things that are happening around, right? तो वो ही चीजें जो हमारे को दिखाई जाती हैं, हमारी फ्रेम ऑफ माइंड जो होता है वो उसके हिसाब से वर्क करता है rather than the totality as a whole. So life right now is only COVID, and that is why CNN says, and COVID and only Sushant Singh Rajput, two things that are there primarily on every television channel. These are the two things, और ऐसा लग रहा है इसके अलावा दुनिया में और कुछ नहीं है. So it was IB and CNN which says about it that besides this, there's so many other topics to discuss, and then it started taking up unemployment issue, the economic revival issue, and so on. पर हमारे को क्या होता है कि जो चीज हमारे को दिखाई जाती है, we just center around our thoughts around that, not taking the entirety into account. That is what is known as the availability heuristics. So this is a basic error that one can have in their mind. Then as the confirmation basis, everybody has their own thought process in their mind, which is good, close to it, I like it, which is not close to it, I don't like it, right? So definitely यही कारण होता है कि कई बारी decisions होते हैं वो इसी form में चलते हैं. You know all those chamchas and that you have, the people that you have or you see in and around the bosses, and they will always tend to boast of the morale, boast of the ego of a boss, saying that whatever that you are doing is absolutely fine. And ultimately he ends up listening to them, take up a wrong decision, and the entire organization suffers. What is that error known as? This is the confirmation basis. That means the organizations at times get, or we as individuals get flooded by all these kind of things. Now, as a result of which we make certain bad decisions, and we need to understand that why are we doing it this way? Not all times are good. Not all times are good, right? We all know about it that we are extra good in the morning as compared to that in the evening. And that is why it is very important to understand that what should be a right time to make up a decision, right? That is what is known as a decision fatigue. You cannot take very important decisions in the evening when you have had a very packed morning or fully packed morning for the day. Do not do it this way. So the decisions were wrong, not because you were a wrong decision maker, but the timing was wrong. There is a steady state of distraction. Steady state of distraction means that you are with so many information around you that you are not able to decide that what is the right information that has to be taken into account. As a result of which, आपके साथ में जो problem हो जाती हैं, वो क्या जाती हैं? Difficult हो जाती हैं. Like it is said that our brains processes 5 times as much as information that it used to be do before. Kitty information we have at every point of a time, and therefore we are not able to focus on anyone. As a result of it, the things go wrong. इस समय भी आप सोचिए कि sitting back in the class, there must be tens and tens of things that are coming to your mind. Possibly अपन में से बहुत सारे लोग must be looking at the mobile, must be checking around or in and around there, and as a result of which output किसी का भी आपको वो desirable नहीं मिलेगा जो आपको मिलना चाहिए. At time it could be a lack of input. अभी 1 घंटे बाद आपकी मीटिंग है and we have to come out with a decision. What can you do in that 1 घंटा? You need at least a time to decide and to read about what has to be done. So things may go wrong because of the time constraint or the information that you need to have. That could be lack of input. Multitasking. Nobody can be a multitasker one day. You really need to have a time when you can focus on at least one thing, right? You cannot be, once again, recall back what decision making जो अपन ने 15 पढ़े थे मिन्सबर्ग के. I cannot be a resource allocator, and then I cannot switch on my roles every now and then to prove that I'm a multitasker, because somewhere down the line I might go wrong. So why do things go wrong is that maybe you cannot end up in being a very multitasking. Emotions where I really cannot have a close on. Sitting back here, you listen to a bad news, and the entire henceforth activity of yours gets affected by it. But there are certain great people who are able to take up the things. But yes, emotions do end up into some kind of a bad decision. It can be an analysis paralysis, but that's what I told you about it. Keep analyzing, and then you do not end up into anything good, may lead into some kind of a bad decision. Now let us try to understand that what John F. Kennedy has been saying it. जॉन एफ कैनेडी ने कहा था कि इन बायसेस को हम किसी तरीके से कहीं ना कहीं पे कम्बैट कर सकते हैं. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, आई कैन जस्ट गिव यू अ टिप ऑन हाउ कैन यू मेक थिंग्स बेटर, बट हाउ वुड यू इम्प्लीमेंट दैट पर्टिकुलर फॉर्मूला इज प्योरली इंडिविजुअल, राइट? So first thing is like being ever curious about every element of your problem. You must have seen to a child, right? छोटा सा बच्चा 4 साल, तो खाना खा लो, तो खाना खाने से क्या होगा कि बेटा ताकत आएगी, ताकत से क्या होगा कि ताकत से बेटा तुम अच्छा काम कर पाओगे, अच्छा काम करने से क्या होगा कि तुम फिर बड़े बन जाओगे, बड़ा बन के मैं क्या करूंगा, एंड देन दे वुड बी फॉलोइंग hundreds and क्वेश्चंस अबाउट इट. बट व्हाट डू वी डू? 2-3 questions and we stop. Now, what is the difference between a child and a person of our age? Our tendency to be curious about each and everything gets stopped, as a result of which this inquisitiveness leads to a bad decision making. So what is it that we need to understand is that must be ever curious about every element of the problem that we have. क्योंकि जितना हम क्यूरियस होंगे, हम उतना उस चीज को इंटरग्रेट करने के बारे में और उसको देखने के बारे में बात करेंगे. Being an imperfectionist with high tolerance of ambiguity. Let it be there. Let it be there. Who can be a perfectionist, or who can be a person with entirety in his mind? Let there be an ambiguity, so that if you have an ambiguity, at least you have a tendency to see both the sides of a coin. If you have that kind of a thing in you, that's where you become, or you're able to solve the problems in a better manner. Like, for example, you are sitting in a room, you are making some kind of a discussion on, right? Now, let's say among the 5 people in a group, 4 people are saying the same kind of a thing. Just because it is near to what I was thinking, I was accepting that particular idea. But let's say a 5th person says something exactly opposite to what we are saying. And then we tend to say that no, because he was saying something wrong, let us not accept him. And that's where the things go wrong. How do you know that the person who's coming out with a very noble idea, a very different idea, is a bad idea? Probably that can be a recipe for success. So you need to become an imperfectionist, and you need to have that high tolerance within you to accept every person's idea, give a keen eye on how it can be resolved so that you can get the things better. Have a dragon eye fly. Why do I call it as a dragon eye fly? See, a dragon eye, it has a very big eyes, and they say it has a multiple lenses. Now, how do they actually work? People really do not know about it. But yes, see the things through a multiple lens. Don't get stuck by one thing, but others are seeing it, and then get stuck into it. Try to see the problem from a different angle, and possibly we'll be able to do it. Like when you see to those crime and the thriller serials, and when you see to the verdict that comes out with, it is really very, I mean, at times you really get so surprised with the fact that मैंने ऐसा तो सोचा ही नहीं था. Now, why did you not सोचा इस तरीके से? Because we tend to get stuck up by whatever we are seeing, and we do not see it from the other angles as such. So, I mean, have that eye of seeing the similar thing from a different angle, so that at least हमारी capacity to at least evaluate the alternatives and analyze the alternative increases. And definitely, more the number of alternatives that you decide, good chances are that you come up with a better decision. Then pursuing occurrent behaviors and relentless experimenting. Keep doing experiments about it. There cannot be anything which is static and which is done. Now, we had examples of that. How did people combat SARS virus in 2002? And probably they say Hong Kong was able to fight back COVID much more easy as compared to others. But then it could not be just the set example and the example for life together, because things have changed now. That particular virus could have been lethal, very deadly it was. But the question is, the virus, like a spread jo hai, is much more than what it was, even though it is not lethal. Yes, we can take examples from the past, but that cannot be the set examples for, or the success formula for the future. Tapping into collective intelligence. Collective intelligence, because we do not know what a solution would be, and we cannot think that the people that we have in and around are the best people that you have. Now, once again, why people, or why the government decided for a lateral entry of the corporate people into the administrative system was because they were actually the people who were there on the fields, as compared to the administrators who have been purely administering the things for long. They had intelligence, but possibly not the experience of being on the field. And we believe that the combination of the both would lead into a better results and a better decision making otherwise. So what do we say about it? That you need to tap onto a collective intelligence and then take ahead. Practicing show and tell and recognizing that story tell begets action. You need to do it to once again get the things done. So these were certain problem solving tactics, which once if an organization, which an individual applies, possibly it can help in making his decision making better. Now, this is becoming very relevant now, that how can we make decisions in this uncertain times? मैं इसे अनसर्टेन टाइम भी नहीं बोलती हूँ, मैं इसे अनइमेजिनेबल टाइम बोलती हूँ। किस तरीके से बात हो रही है? ऐसा नहीं है कि वी हैव बीन टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस अनसर्टेनिटी या अभी। ये रिपोर्ट्स मैंने मैकेंसी से ली एंड आई बीन अ वेरी I mean, I am a follower of the McKinsey reports, and ever since there, you know, this particular things came in 2018 and 2016 and 17, and they have started discussing about why is decision becoming so important in an organization. Simple reason being was दोनों तरह की चीजें हो रही थी. Good thing was that we have too much of an access to technology, we had too much of access to information, we had tools and techniques which could help us in giving us the answers to it. But on the other side, the bad it was too much of an information that was creating a problem. As a result of which, the people were stressed, were not able to come out with the better answers, and that is why the organizations had to find a balance between how to take a decision making orders, because they were getting into some kind of a problem, right? Now, that is why they said that you have to improve the speed and the quality. Like for example, recall जब आप strategy के अंदर पे पढ़ते हैं, तब आप कहते हैं कि differentiation strategy के अंदर पे लो कॉस्ट और क्वालिटी में से एक ही चीज आ सकती है, या तो लो कॉस्ट आ सकता है या क्वालिटी ऑफ अ प्रोडक्ट आ सकता है. यू कैन नॉट हैव बोथ द थिंग्स एट द सेम टाइम. इसी तरीके से हमने कहा कि अगर डिसीजन मेकिंग होगी या तो स्पीड आएगी या क्वालिटी आएगी. बट वी ऑल नो अबाउट द सैमसंग फॉर्मूला विच सेज कि लो कॉस्ट के ऊपर भी क्वालिटी आपकी आ सकती है. इसी तरीके से क्विक स्पीड के ऊपर भी आपकी क्वालिटी डिसीजन मेकर की बनाई जा सकती है. किस तरीके से हम उस चीज को बना सकते हैं और क्यों इस तरह की प्रॉब्लम हुई है? क्योंकि इतनी ज्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज हो गई थी कि disengagement, paralysis and the anxiety was leading into a bad decision making. Disengagement मतलब सोचिए कि वही आदमी, I mean at times it so happens that you are going to different committees for a similar kind of a problem and then you get so stuck up कि इस आदमी को पहले कमेटी का recommendation क्यों नहीं पता था, right? And the things, that is where you get disengaged about it. You are seeing the same presentation once, twice, thrice, 4 times, and then you turn off. Or it could be you are still thinking in terms of what has to be done, thinking, no action into it. People really get put off by the analysis that you are doing it. Or anxiety, suppose if it is associated with your promotion and your, let's say, a money part of it, तो आपका anxiety level change हो जाता है. Need to understand कि नहीं, हमें चीजों को इस तरीके से कैटेगराइज करना है कि हम तीनों चीजों को किसी तरीके से कर्व कर सकें. This is what is known as the ABCD of categorizing decision. समझें, हर डिसीजन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर पे इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होता. You have to make decision. All problems are not important and they're not equally important. There are certain problems which are recurring. There are certain problems which are non-recurring. There are certain problems which have a high impact. There are certain problems which have a narrow impact. Now, when we were doing ABC analysis that we were doing, when you study about the production management, we say that 20% of the problems and 20% of the things, it takes 80% of the revenue of a company, and 80% of the problem, just take the 20% part of it. In the similar manner, you need to categorize your decisions as. You need to see to it that whatever decisions have to be taken, it has to be put into some kind of a prioritization form so that how much emphasis and time has to be given to them can be pre-decided. If you're able to do it, naturally, your focus and the output, at least to a certain extent, can be determined. For example, I have it on 2 axes. One is the level of familiarity and dusra is the scope and impact. Level of familiarity says it is either unfamiliar, it is infrequent, or the second one is familiar and frequent. And on the y-axis, we have the scope and impact, where we would say either you have a narrow scope or you have a broader scope. Now, as a result of which, you can have 4 kind of a decision. And if you would see to the McKinsey's reports, there's a huge detail about all these 4 kind of a decision and very wonderful discussions about it. Big decision hota hai big bet decisions. These are the major consequences of the company. Like for example, should we go in for a merger? Would acquisition be allowed? Must I let my organization have a stake of 7.7% by the Facebook company or not? All these decisions are major decisions because impact of it would be having on the entire organization and reverse of it would be very difficult. I might take up a decision of disinvesting my organization right now because I believe I'm in need of a money and this is the best way of getting back the cash, so I must disinvest my money. But disinvesting and letting it go into a public, from a public to a private hands, will that be giving me a fruitful results for the bigger run or not? That is a big question. These decisions are known as the big bet decisions. Naturally, they are infrequent, they are less in numbers, and at the same time, they have a very broad impact on the decision making. The second kind of decisions are known as the cross-cutting decisions. These are frequent decisions, but they are high-risk decisions, and they are a series of small interconnected decisions. Something like pricing kitni karni chahiye, or definitely when an organization is deciding about pricing a product, it has to take into account all the varied departments. Interconnectedly, they have to decide in terms of what shall be the right price. Because the operations people definitely would want to have a good price, the finance would definitely want to have a higher price, marketing wala kahega nahi, let's think in terms of our customers, whether it is doable or not. And ultimately, if they are all not connected to each other, they may end up into setting up a price which is wrong, right? So these decisions are known as the cross-cutting decisions. Then there are the third decisions, which are known as the delegated decisions. They can be taken by an individual. Definitely, if it is being delegated, it percolates down to the lowest level. और वहां पर ये decisions जो होते हैं वो कुछ एक लोग भी लेते हैं तो उसके अंदर पे work चल जाता है. Like for example, what is the amount of work that has to be done by the end of this day? What is the amount of a target that is to be achieved by, let's say, a lower level manager in an organization? All these things can be decided by a delegated decision. And then you have the ad hoc decision, which arises very rarely and which do not have a much say on it, which could be once in a lifetime. I mean, nothing like COVID, but definitely some kind of a, let's say, a small disagreement between the labor and a party, I mean, the party and the organization, which just leads to a 1 or 2 day of kind of a lockdown. So these are all very ad hoc decisions. Organization says that, I mean, a good organization are always able to prioritize their decisions into these 4 categories, as a result of which then they're able to understand that how each particular problem has to be dealt with. Now, suppose if you have, I mean, I always remember that whenever we used to have the board of management, I mean, I used to ask our seniors about it. How does it happen? They say they always ask for an agenda. Why do you ask for an agenda? Because in that agenda, you're able to categorize in terms of what are the decisions that has to be taken up immediately, or immediate importance, of less importance, and of least importance. So there are certain decisions which has to be discussed where the discussions are not, whereas there are certain decisions which just has to be read and it has to be passed in consent. Now, zaruri nahi hai ki big bet decisions, which I think are the big bet decisions, cannot be a cross-cutting decisions. It might happen. Pricing decision for certain organization can be a big bet decision because that decides the fate of a company, and it can be vice versa. But yes, organization on the basis of the problems it has must be able to prioritize the decision making into some form. Now, this big bet decisions को किस तरीके से हम resolve कर सकते हैं? Like for example, you appoint a sponsor into it. If you want the things to work, you really have to make it work. I remember that we are working with EY, the Ernst & Young people, as a consultant to the IITFC program. And whenever I speak to them, they always talk in terms of partners, right? They never talk in terms of superior and juniors. They talk in terms of partner. I spoke to my partner. Partner is supposed to be an immediate boss of an individual, but that feeling of partner gives a feeling of commitment towards the organization. So you have to make your, I mean, whatever things that you have decided for an organization, उसे इतना doable, implementable बनाए कि लोगों का commitment उस चीज के लिए क्या हो जाना चाहिए, बढ़ जाना चाहिए. Then, for example, break things down and connect them up. It can be that the COVID problem seems to be a very big problem. But when we sit back, we have to really decide it into a doable form and see how will it be done. And that is why you must have seen to it that the organizations are coming up with a roadmap. Like for example, the Tourism Ministry of Tourism is coming out with a roadmap of how would they revive back the tourism back into the country. And definitely they have made a timeline on the basis of which they would be concentrating on the first part of it in the first phase, and gradually they would be taking into the second and third part. They have to do it because you cannot open tourism to people around looking to the large number of COVID cases. If you would do it this way, nobody is going to come. So to let the tourism be on roll and to get people back into the business, they have now decided that the first thing that they would be doing is opening their doors for the domestic tourism. And probably it can be this way कि जिस तरीके से बबल्स बनने शुरू हो गए हैं, जैसे भूटान ने कहा कि इंडिया के लोग आ सकते हैं, so they have made it easy travel between the India and Bhutan. इसी तरीके से हो सकता है when I open it for the domestic, it can be that the 3 states might interchangeably decides about it, that the people from these neighboring areas can come without any kind of a restriction. You have to make people on the move to get the returns. How are you doing it when you are trying to put it into smaller kind of a doable activity? Then you deploy a standard decision-making approach, that there be some kind of a format to be followed, which should not be discretionary or which could not be a subjective to a person. You have to have some kind of a format into it and move faster without losing commitment to it. You need to have a deadlines to it. I know deadlines at times are wrong in terms of giving the commitment, but deadlines are also good because once you see a deadline, your tendency to work is better. My son was just the other day telling me about it, because they just started up with an orientation program of his masters that he's doing in Italy. पहले दिन ही उन्होंने हमें ये बता दिया कि 21 तारीख को ये चाहिए, 25 तारीख को ये चाहिए. इससे अच्छा तो इंडिया था, हमें ये होता था कि पहला प्रेजेंटेशन आपको देना है. Now there is a difference. पहला प्रेजेंटेशन देना है, so our tendency to lagger down that particular decision goes on and on. हमारे बच्चे क्यों presentation देते हैं? Because we don't give them a deadline, and you give them a deadline and they'll give you a better result as compared to what they would have given you with no deadline in hand. We all know about it. So one thing is for sure, that if I want this thing to work, I definitely has to look into this thing. Then it is cross-cutting decisions को किस तरीके से करना है. Cross-cutting decisions are lesser impactful decisions, yet उनका impact in a long run is more. Right? तो इसलिए आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, उनको ध्यान से करना पड़ेगा. I have seen to the way ENY is working right now, that everything that they discuss, they document it. And because they document it, the accountability becomes more. Because the accountability becomes more, so they're very sure before they put up it on papers. Because to want to be sure, they read a lot and they research a lot. To research a lot, they gather a lot of information. So what ultimately ends up into a doable and a practicable plan. Clear? So that is what is a cross-cutting decision. If you are doing it, if you're keeping the information open to everybody in that particular series, definitely people would tend to give them more commitment and goodness to it. And if you're evaluated on the basis of the performance that you are getting, definitely my approach to this is getting onto a more higher level. So cross-cutting decisions ke andar pe, you do it, test it, let it go through and see whether it is workable or not. If you find some kind of a loop, you again put it to test, change it, and then work on it. But yes, you have to have a formal procedures to do it. Till you do not have it, things definitely go wrong. Then you have delegated decision. We have heard about a metrics organization where you have 2 bosses, right? हमें लगा सबसे अच्छा होता होगा. Very lately, I've heard about a helix organization. थोड़ा सा भी मुझे कम clear हुआ, but I could just understand now you don't need to have a 2 bosses. In fact, you have to be a boss of your own self with 2 people you have to report to who will not be a evaluator but be doing the individual task. For example, my boss would be, one boss would be evaluating me on my, let's say, an output. The another boss would be evaluating me on the type of work done, but they would not be connected with each other, as a result of which I would not get anxiety of whom to first answer to and not others to answer to. यानी कि आपको ये समझ में आना चाहिए कि how are you going to delegate, how would you let it go to the another party in this thing. Because if you're not making a clear path, things go wrong. Trust us, when we started up with the IITFC program, one of the companies, that is the Wipro that we were coming up, he came up and said, ma'am, escalation matrix बनवा दीजिए. I did not know what escalation matrix was. I asked him, what is it, an escalation matrix? उसने कहा, मैम आप ये बता दीजिए कि कितने तरह की हमने आइडेंटिफाई करी हैं कि प्रॉब्लम्स आ सकती हैं, और इन प्रॉब्लम्स के अंदर पे who would be the person that we have to report to, right? And then we made the entire matrix. Believe me, it's been a year that we have with us, and none of the problem remains pending for more than 2 days, which initially used to be for weeks together because nobody did not know that who he had to answer to. But with that escalation matrix in line, we really know who is the person who has accountable for that particular problem. It has to be fixed in 2 days and it has to be done. जितनी recurring problems आती हैं, वो recurring problem एक issue बन जाता है. We sit back weekly for a meeting and we see to it which are the recurring problems. जो recurring problems आती हैं या questions होते हैं वो FAQs बन जाते हैं और वो FAQs जो होते हैं वो वहां पर ही resolve हो जाते हैं and then we wait for a newer problem to arise. जो problem हमें लगता है कि जैसे for example शुरू में हमारे पास जब call center चला हमारे पास बहुत सारे तरह की problems आई. We were looking at the problem, we saw the problem, we tried to solve it, पर हमें लगा कुछ ना कुछ गड़बड़ है. What we did was we asked for all the problems and the phone numbers of the people who were doing it, और हमने उन लोगों को फोन करना शुरू करा. And we realized that we were actually asking the call center people to note down the problems. कॉल सेंटर प्रॉब्लम के लोगों के साथ में क्या होती है कि उनको एक फिक्स्ड फॉर्मेट बताते हैं कि ये 6 तरह की प्रॉब्लम होती है, तो वो कोई भी प्रॉब्लम को इन 6 कैटेगरी में डाल देता है. जबकि यहाँ पर टाइप ऑफ प्रॉब्लम जो थी वो क्या थी, बहुत ज्यादा डिफरेंट थी. किसी ने ये कहा कि मैंने पैसे तो दे दिए हैं पर मैं मॉड्यूल्स नहीं खोल पा रहा हूँ, तो उसने जवाब दिया कि इसका मॉड्यूल नहीं खुल रहा है. We could not understand why he was not able to open up the module because he did not mention कि उसने पैसे देने के बाद में ये issue आया. And then we realized that there has to be an automatic, issue कि once you press up a make payment button, the modules must automatically on their own. Now, why I'm telling you all this is कि yes, in the process of making IITFC workable, which was a very huge product, it runs into crores, we could realize that there were certain decisions where we have to sit back for our policy making orders. There were certain things which can be integrated with the other departments, and there are certain things which can be put into few hands. And yes, it worked. And I mean, that is how I'm able to relate that why prioritizing the decision is something which is very important. Now, the last of it, we would just try to see if we can make up a speed into it. Now the organizations are changing. They have to change. They have realized that with the same style that they were working, it's not going to survive for long. और चीजों को हमारे को अलग तरीके से करना पड़ेगा. You have to rethink the ways of working, speed up and delegate decision making. You have to actually put up a speed into it, and that's where technology is actually working. But again, technology is not going to replace the humans around, क्योंकि आप स्पीड अप तो कर सकते हैं पर उसके अंदर पे वेरिएबल्स इंक्लूड हर समय पर नहीं कर सकते हैं. आई कैन मेक टूरिज्म कॉन्टैक्टलेस फॉर सर्टेन पॉइंट्स ऑफ अ टाइम, बट आई कैन नॉट मेक इट वेरी एक्सपीरियंशियल फॉर ऑल द थिंग्स टू हैपन. नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज कि एक्सपीरियंशियबिलिटी, कॉन्टैक्टलेस, सेफ्टी, सिक्योरिटी, इन सब चीजों को हम कैसे लेकर आएंगे, that is a new thing that we have in mind. So we have to rethink the ways in which we can do it. And that is why we are trying to figure it out, that how can we speed up the thing so that we can put tourism back into place. Step up the execution excellence. Now is not the time when you can sit back, relax and think about it. We all know how much expert have you become in the times of COVID. कितने लोग आप में से एक्सपर्ट हो गए, कोई खाना बनाने में, कोई गार्डनिंग के अंदर पे. You have come out with a different kind of a talent in you, and the things have started up going very. The day when we started up with the things on our own, it was taking us time. अब अपन इतने एक्सपर्ट हो गए हैं कि what next has to be done, what next has to be done, we are doing it very fast. So you have to rethink the ways of working. You have to step up your execution balance. CPM part पढ़ते हैं जिसमें हम operational figures को देखते हैं. We try to find out where is the stack, minimize the slack and get the work going. There is no time for any kind of a delaying, because the more you delay, the more opportunity that you would go with. कितनी सारी organizations ने इस समय पे COVID के time में they have left the core working for which they were working and they started doing something new. ठीक है, कितनी clothing organizations have left the clothing part and they have started taking up mask making. They have started making up different kind of attires which would suit the people, not making things very flashy but making things more comfortable, because people are now sitting back at home and they have stepped up that the way that it has to be implemented. Everybody's back into business because they know that this is the way it has to be. Cultivate extraordinary partnership. Networks have gone to a larger extent. You don't have to be a good in everything. See to it, Amazon has gone up with BB, Big Basket. Big Basket has gone up with 3 more others. And why are they doing it this way? Because they know they have reached to a same client. If you have reached to a same client through different kind of a channels, why not all get together and go at the same time? This saves cost, makes up a speed, and things makes more better. So you cultivate extraordinary partnerships in that case. reimagining the structures. Organization has gone up flattening the structures. Now it's not the time when you need to have a hierarchical structure. We know the irony of having the hierarchy in the organization. तुमने मुझे नहीं बताया, मुझे बताया होता तो मैं आगे जाता. वो इसलिए रूठ गए क्योंकि वो ज़्यादा अलग थे. उनको पहले बताना चाहिए था. किसी का कहीं ईगो आ जाता है, किसी का कहीं कुछ आ जाता है. We know what is the irony of having a hierarchical structure in a system. So less the number of people you have in the hierarchy, the more access that you have it to the other person around makes those things go better. And that is why they say flatten the structure. Empower the teams. We have seen the beauty of empowerment before as well. But then you have to give it to a larger extent in this era, because still you will not empower your teams. You will not be able to reach to a heights what you want to be. So these structures are now getting in such a way where the people's accountability and their authority delegation is going side by side. All responsibility, accountability, authorities getting into fewer hands and into a larger number of people, so that the things become much more easy. Make hybrid work. It has to be a cross-sectional way of working into it. No one body would be able to do it this way. You have had the experiences of having the people moving on to a project mode. This is how it has to be. This helix work, this agile organizations that we're talking of these days are the ones which are reimagining into the structures. Then you have to reshape the talent. You have to design work for a well-being. सोचिए कितना stress है इस समय पे. Even if you do not want to think negative about a particular thing, there is not a time when you're not thinking about it. You have to tell the people about it. This is for your well-being. So, I mean, if you are not convincing them about all these kind of stuff, आप उनके basic talent को किसी तरीके से इस्तेमाल नहीं कर रहे हैं. In the name of work from home, I know we have been working for 18 hours a day. There is no night, there is no day, there is no afternoon. Any time of a day, the Zoom meetings are there, and that goes on for lengthy hours together for innumerable kind of discussions with no decisions in hand. Don't do it this way. You have to design work for well-being, give time for everybody, even if it is at home. There has to be a work-life balance. Beyond reskilling, invest in resilience. If you are making them do it this way, people were thinking that 2022 may 30% of the workforce have to be reskilled. Most of the work would go wrong, and you have to come out with something new. You have to understand reskilling is re-engineering an individual, पर अब आपको उसको अलग तरीके से देखना पड़ेगा. And the compensation conundrum, you have to see to it that the way that you are now compensating an individual is just not by money, but has to be by some different kind of a thing. That solace, that peace, that mental peace of mind. So what do we need to understand? That decision making, even though it sounds very simple for an organization, we need to understand the intricacy into it, as a result of which, if we would go wrong, the things are absolutely go wrong. And that's what Narayan Murthy has been saying, that the organizations with decision making, speed and imagination will thrive, as nobody can claim to have monopoly over creativity. It is not one person's prerogative to be creative. As long as you are there, you will definitely have a say in the market. Thank you very much. Over to you, Amit. Amit.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to you, ma'am, so much. For very exciting.
If anybody has a question, I would just love to answer on that. You can please type it down so that I can see into your chat if you have any issue.
They can directly ask, ma'am. Only few questions we will take up, because so many are appreciating your lecture. Most of them are.
Trust me, boss. Trust me, everyone. I mean, speaking to the
afternoon.
हाँ जी, बोलें please.
मैम आपने बहुत अच्छा लेक्चर लिया. Thank you so much. Your PPT background is too good and it is very impressive. Apart from this, the myth content you have taken it today, they are very nice. Third myth, you said more information leads to better decision making. So does gender affect the decision-making process, and is there any impact on due to gender? Male, female wise?
I would appreciate if you would please just type it down, because there seems to be a network issue. So the voice gets just lost in middle.
Does gender, can you hear me, ma'am?
Gender does have an impact. You all know about it. I mean, there's nothing that we can go with.
But because of this, they are not. Because of this, the female are not getting good opportunity for higher level
Uh,
position in
देखिए,
maximum
इस समय पे
organization?
I can understand the irony of, matlab, at times it's really happens so this way, but I think there are people in the scenario who appreciate you for being a gender, I mean, being a lady and then coming out with something nice. Gender can be one of the factors, but that together in all doesn't become a decision making criteria. तो आपको बेनिफिट भी होता है बीइंग अ लेडी एट टाइम्स यू टेक अप एज ओवर द मेल सो आई थिंक आदमी लोग मन में यही सोच रहे होंगे कि ऐसा नहीं है कि महिलाओं को दुख ही दुख है सुख भी है बट आई थिंक द मोर द सोसाइटी वुड गेट मैच्योर द थिंग्स वुड बिकम डिफरेंट सो डोंट गेट डिसहार्टेंड you are Dr. Kavita Patil, so you can think of it as that if you could reach to this height, you can reach to any heights for the times to come, right?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, any other question, please?
I would request everybody to please chat. I mean, write it down because वो voice break हो जाती है बीच में. Any question that you have? I would urge everyone to please read the McKinsey reports, Wharton reports, because they have spoken a lot about, the the pandemic era, and then all management related issues, very wonderfully written. So keep following them. I think that enhances our knowledge as well as what contemporary issues के ऊपर discussion होता है, which leads to very good results as such.
I think, ma'am, in chat, most of people are only praising your lecture and asking
Thank you
for
so
PPT,
much and
and asking for PPT. So surely I will
trust me,
share.
बहुत tension वाला काम है ये.
I will share your PPT. And
Sure.
once again, thank you so much, ma'am, for delivering a wonderful lecture. And
I thank you all so much and I think it's always a nice decision कि आप लोग सोचिए कि Zoom पे अगर FDP हो गया है तो अब तो colleges को भी कहने को नहीं रह गया कि आप नहीं जा सकते अब. So some things have gone wrong right in pandemic, but something have at least made it wonderful. अगर अपने से कोई अगला कहता है कि online आ जाइए तो अपन कभी नहीं आते. But I think this has become a part of our life now.
yes,
So
yes.
thank you all very much. Wishing you all good luck. Have a healthy and a safe life. And rise to high levels in your career.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Now we will go for 1 hour break, and after that, we have a very esteemed speaker, Professor Nimit Chaudhary, who had a wide experience in working so many countries. That I will tell later. And 1 hour break, we will come again and to listen Professor Nimit Chaudhary, sir. Okay, thank you to all of you. Thank you, ma'am.